Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. For me, it is Monday, February the 20, whatever it is, 25th or 26th? 26th. And I'm not about to go into one more week, one more day of abusing my machine. I'm going to give it a good cleaning, and I'm going to let you see how that goes for a Singer heavy duty. I'll get the model number for you and put it on the screen. I think it's like 4421, something along those lines. It's a great machine. For just plain piecing, I have no problems with it. It has a threader in it. I can put a walking foot on it. I can drop my feed dogs. So I'm hoping that comes into play here soon when I start doing some thread painting. But it's been getting abused lately. It's just using it and using it and using it. It's time to take care of it. It's got to be my first priority. My entire studio needs a little bit of a reset, but I'm going to start with the machine. Here we go. So let's put a little light on this. See if that helps. See if I can get this out of your way. Put some light on it without being in your way too badly. This is an Ott light, O-T-T-L-I-T-E, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to clean up my space first. And right now, I'm just going to worry about this area of my machine, and not everything else will be taken care of next. I've got all of my, to the right of the machine, I've got all of my leaders and enders stacked up, which I need to get organized. And I've got some stuff going on over here. We're going to fix all that today, right now. But first, the machine. Okay, let's take that off. Let's dig down in here to this bobbin. I put a new bobbin in yesterday. I would never use this. I need to start using it because for the longest I was using one of the little plastic pieces that Lori Holt sells that kind of smooths out all these surfaces, and I like it, but when you're changing out your bobbin thread or needing to get into your bobbin at all, you got to take off everything, and you got to have tape to keep it down. So I just took it off for a little while. Before we go any further, because I forgot to tell you this at the very beginning, make sure that, if you're more careful of a person than I am, as you should be, number one, that you disconnect your sewing machine from power because you don't need it and you don't want to accidentally electrocute yourself or something stupid like that, right? That wouldn't be stupid. That'd be scary. And you want to take your needle out, take your foot out and take your needle out. I didn't do that in the right order. I did eventually do it, but I didn't do it initially. So I just wanted to remind you about that. Now let's proceed with getting prepared to oil the machine. So I'm going to wait to the last for this because we're going to be putting dust everywhere. But I'm going to keep it handy. It's going to stay right there. All right, so my fingers don't work great. So I have a little foam on my screwdriver to help me hold on to it. Helps me a lot. There's also, pretty sure this next thing came with the machine, with this machine. And it's a little screwdriver that fits inside here. I need something on it, maybe put some tape on it because it slides around really badly. Okay, one screw, gonna set that aside so I don't lose it. Last thing you want to do is lose a screw. Nobody likes loose screws. Trust me, I had hardware put into my neck and skull a year and a half ago, and I had loose screws on it. It was no fun. But it was fun saying that I had screws loose in my head. Here we go. This comes out. Pull up my bobbin. Oh my gosh, I got to give you a close-up. I knew it was sounding different. Oh my gosh. Almost embarrassed to show you. Look at that. I detected it sounding different yesterday, so it just kind of got to a critical mass where all of a sudden it was really it was struggling. And if we don't take care of these things and oil them regularly, they will take care of our budget. It will eat up our budget. We have to buy a new one or get them serviced, not just a regular service, but an expensive service. My mom just gave me this, and I think it's one that she's used, but she found that she didn't need it. It doesn't have a very small opening, which I think I would need for this. So it may not work very well, but we're going to give it a shot. I have another vacuum that we'll try to. Don't worry, I'm going to turn the sound down. You don't have to cover your ears. I am very surprised at how well that worked. I really am. I thought I was going to have to go get my bigger vacuum because that's really my first time to use. Well, I'll take that back. I've used it on my stairs. So next thing I want to do is you don't want to use this to push the dust and debris further down in there. You want to uncover it and suck it out, much like how you want to dust in your house. You don't want to use something to push that dust into your wood. You want to pick that dust up. You want to vacuum it up. I believe in vacuuming. Can you tell? Okay. So if I'm going to give this a bigger shot than what I've been giving it historically instead of this, I am going to put some tape on it so I can grip it better. And I'm going to see if this smaller, yep. Yeah, see, it's just awkward to do screws at a diagonal. So I don't know if you can hear it, but my neighbor is on his lawnmower. He's got all brown grass, but he mows it weekly, every week, 52 weeks a year. He's picking up leaves and pine cones and that kind of thing. He keeps his yard immaculate. I wish he'd come over here and do mine. But Zoe doesn't like it, so every once in a while she likes to bark about the whole thing. So if you see any weird glitches in our video, it's because I've had to stop abruptly because somebody's decided to alert me about the tidy neighbor. So this piece keeps the bobbin case in. You got to take it up if you're going to take that bobbin out and clean underneath it and give your machine a good oil, which it needs. Okay, so this is my bobbin case. Set that aside. Got to show you how much debris was underneath it. This is after I vacuumed, right? That's all the debris that was underneath the bobbin case. So I got to clean that really well and then oil right there in the center. Looks like down deep in there, there's really not a lot of dust and dirt, but I'm going to vacuum again now that the bobbin is out. The bobbin case is out. But you can see there's still a good bit of dust lying around, especially down there underneath where the bobbin case was. Here we go. I have a piece of flannel that I have been pulling from to use as a leader ender, and I'm going to cut a piece of it, see if I can like use it to suck up some of this dust too. Yeah, that looks a whole lot better. Yeah, see all the stuff that came up off that? When was the last time you looked at your machine? Oh my gosh. So what this is going to do though is allow me to suction it again with the vacuum. It's probably broken up and made some of it loose that wasn't loose. I'm going to do that again. All right, now my straw brush. I'm going to use that to see if I can't dig around and pull up any more. Yep, I am going to have to vacuum again because I got all that debris off of it and loosened up more. There are a few places inside here too that need to be cleaned up, and we will do that next. First, let's do this a solid first. I want to get that good and clean before I put any oil in there, because then it would just cake up, right? Once you get oil on top of the dust. It's a tight little spot. So I try to keep this near my machine for this reason. I need to make a pretty one of these, but right now it's just a piece of that same flannel. Evidently, it was just a little scrap that was laying around, and I didn't want the oil getting on my table, but I want this to be where I see it all the time, so I don't forget that I have to take care of my machine. So before I do this, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down that area around it. Not down inside there where the oil is going. Yeah, see, I'm still getting more dust up. Just the peripheral area. I'm gonna take this foot off. It's just getting in my way. One of you is probably saying, why does she not take that foot off? The feed dogs. My finger strength is not good, so I hesitate to do that because I don't know if I could get it tight again. So I'm gonna clean around it. There we go. Oh my gosh, yeah. See that clump that was inside there? The vacuum wasn't going to get that up. You had to manually, oh my gosh, yes. So that's much better to do that. Let me use a pen on that tiny. That is just wild. This is happening all over our studios. See, that's little clumps that was inside the feed dogs. Alrighty, much better. I'm much happier with all that. While this cloth is wet though, I want to go ahead and use it. Let this be inspiration to you to clean your machine, if not today, really soon. I don't know when I cleaned it last. I think I cleaned it in November or December. I don't know what the recommendations are. You need to look that up for your machine. I'm sure it's not once or twice a year. It's probably more like weekly or monthly. But let's be realistic. How many of us actually do those kind of things? Well, if you paid a lot more for your machine than what I paid, you might. You really might. Been meaning to make a little mini quilt right here to absorb some of the sound and vibration of my machine. But I haven't done that yet. If I haven't had time to clean my machine, I sure haven't had time to baby it with a blankie. So let's see how many drops it says. That's not in my language. Is there anything in here in my language? No. No. How'd that happen? How did I get? That's interesting. So let me look it up real quick. So I wiped everything off good. I'm happy with how it looks. I'm going to see if I can't get that little wick. Yep, there's a wick. Oh, this is bone dry. See how clear that is? It was seriously needing some oil. Shame on me. Oh my goodness. It should have more signs of oil on it than that. Okay, so I think maybe 2 drops. It may need 3. You don't want to get this on anything else, and you don't want to overdo it. Just a little bit of oil goes a long way. Your machine doesn't need too much. Let's see, it's 1 drop, 2 drops. That came out rather quickly. I'm going to let it soak down into that wick before I try to wipe up what fell around it. I'm going to show you. close up. So a little bit of oil went into this little crevasse around it, moat, if you will. And I need to get that up before I put everything back together. It was so dry, I almost feel like I need to wait for it to soak that up and put another drop in. But it got 2 heavy drops. And it looks like oil is kind of sitting right there. It's going to continue to absorb for a while. I might just do this, close it up, clean that area around the washer, which is not really a washer, it just looks like a washer. And then make a mental note to come back and check on it in a few days. It's another piece of scrap. This one's clean, super clean. Using that around the outside of that washer. I don't want to soak up any that's meant to be soaked into the wick. So I'm trying to keep it off of that. I think if you leave the oil down in there around it, that you're going to do more harm than good, because that's going to catch all the debris and kind of clump up the mechanics of how your machine works right there. All right, let me vacuum one more time. I meant to take my needle out already because I was going to change it. Not only do you want it out of the way so you don't hurt yourself, but you need to take this opportunity to change your needle. All right, I forget which one this is. I keep my sharps, my dead soldiers, if you will, in a spice container. I keep that in one of my drawers where I keep my sewing machine needles and everything else. It's quite obvious that they are the dead soldiers and they can't be reused. And they're safe from getting reused, by accidentally getting reused. Put the lid back on that. Put this on top of my flannel back here out of sight. I will be cleaning off the rest of my sewing table, but not before I finish this, and foiling on the inside too. Okay, we want to put everything back together. What I try to remind myself is that it's not trying to get out of there. I don't have to have a death grip on it. It's got to be tight so it doesn't wiggle free as the machine vibrates. But my amount of tightness is quite sufficient. See if I don't have an easier time with these screws. These are much easier. Right now we're going to open this up and clean it. There. Everything looks pretty good. Everything looks to be in good shape. Doesn't need a lot. Let's look at how well the moving parts are moving. So that's your moving part. And then here. And I oiled that back in November and it's all looking pretty good still. Like I can see oil on that. I feel like it could use some where it makes contact where you guys can't see. But what I did is I just looked at everything that had a point of contact, and while I moved it, felt where I thought there might be a little bit of resistance, and that's where I put a drop of oil. I'm pretty sure I put oil where the manufacturer doesn't recommend you doing it. Not that it tells you not to, but it's not part of where it tells you to do it. And so hopefully I've not messed it up by doing so. So read your manufacturer's instructions and do only what you're told to do. But I feel comfortable with what I did. And this just glides so much better. So much better. I don't know if you are aware, but I have found out that you're not supposed to pull your thread back up out of your machine. If you need to de-thread it, you cut your thread up here and pull it down this way. That's to keep all of your bits and pieces happy on the inside of your machine. Right there is a little bit of resistance. What is that is resisting? That's where that is hitting this plastic lever. Let me put a little bit on it. See if that helps. Much better. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put this back on. Look at that, a screw that went on the first time. All right, we are in business. So I'll put my bobbin cover back on, put my needle in, and I'll be good to go. However, I'm not going to put my most prized fabric underneath there for the first go around. I'll probably just sew on some of my scrap leader enders for a little bit, just to get things moving in there to see if it's going to be spitting out any oil. Last thing you want to do to some of your fabric that you paid $12 a yard for or more, right? Hopefully this will encourage you guys to do a little bit of maintenance in your studio too, whether it's your machine, cleaning off one of your surfaces, organizing a little bit, whatever it takes to keep you working in your studio productively and effectively and enjoyably. That's why we're here. It's not supposed to be a stressful environment. This is supposed to be our therapy space. It's supposed to cleanse. You can't do that in a messy place or with a machine that's going to break down because we don't take care of it. Do you have a favorite tip? Share it in the comments below or email it to me and we'll share it with others. LakesideQMA@gmail.com. Thank you for being here with me today. I've enjoyed it and I'm hoping that this helps you and encourages you. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Doesn't that look so much better? Yes, it does. It's going to sound so good. It's going to purr, I bet you. Now, to take care of the chaos going on around it. It's a beautiful day for a walk. Maybe I'll just go do that instead. Nope, I'm going to stay put.